Today, I would like to demonstrate the joints and glands exercises, but this time, instead of making a whole bunch of small videos, I'm going to do this in one fell swoop, and this time it's going to be seated only. So some people are not able to stand up and do all of the exercises, and so this time we're going to be doing them just sitting down. Now, a couple of points as we go through these exercises together. Please be mindful that this is for also learning to direct the attention. So in other words, you're putting your attention on each body part in sequence, and also for paying attention to the breath, and also paying attention to the level of stress and tension that's in each body part. So together we're going to go through a series of exercises, very gentle, from head to toe. And as you go through the exercises, please put your attention fully on each body part and really feel what it's like from the inside. How much stress is in that tension, how much stress or tension is in that body part. And hopefully by the time we're done, you'll have released the tension from head to toe. So again, this series is going to be fully seated. So I'm going to start with a face and sinus massage. So put the hands into some very loose fists and just kind of go along the ridge of the eyes here and underneath. And do a gentle, gentle massage. You can also do the temples and just bring the massage up and down around the bones here. Next, scalp and forehead. So raise and lower the eyebrows. This time, pay attention to the tension that's in the forehead and the tension that's in the scalp, and tense, and release all of that. Next, it's going to be half face squint. So for this one, if you're not used to facial exercises, you can start by covering half of your face and just squint the half that's not covered. Once you get used to it, you don't necessarily need your hand for it. Next, other side. You can do it with your hand or not, just to get used to it. Next, full face squint, so scrunch everything up. And again, pay attention to the tension and the sensation of the inside of the face muscles as you tense and release. All right, next we're going to look at the eyes. And so move the eyes all the way left and all the way right. And remember to breathe as you're doing these. All the way up and down. Diagonal. You can do this with eyes open or eyes closed. Obviously, I'm doing it with eyes open for demonstration. And either way, feel what it's like to have the attention moving around along with the eyeballs. And around in circles. Incidentally, you're also training your cranial nerves as you're doing these exercises, because each of the cranial nerves goes to each of these body parts, so you're paying attention to sensation as well as the movement. Next, mouth exercise. So again, tension and release. So we're going to exercise the mouth. Just kind of open and shut the jaw. And feel the tension in the neck and the jaw area. This is a very common spot where people hold their tension as well. So put the lips together inside and open and shut the jaw. And to demonstrate so you can see it better, I'm also going to do it sideways for you. If you're sitting, you don't have to do this turned. And see, tension and release of all this front of the neck and throat area as well. All right, next we're going to do a seated version of the lion again. And for this one, it's going to be important to have an exhalation, but also you can tense the whole body and release the whole body with this exercise as well. So for the lion, you're going to breathe in, and you're going to cross the eyeballs and lean forward just a little bit on your seat and have a good strong exhalation like you're a lion roaring. Ready? And again, one more time. All right, so that's the lion. Always a little fun. Next, one more time, we're going to massage the face. So starting from the inside and working your way out. And feel the tension relieving as you do this. Obviously, if you use glasses, you can do it with or without glasses. It's a little easier though. And you can massage not just your face if you like, but you can also massage your scalp. Just kind of rub around in there. You've exercised all of these little tiny muscles that are not used to being exercised. And so it's very nice sometimes to massage the temples, especially if you're feeling tension there. And you can also do a nice massage all over the scalp. And sometimes you can pay attention to the back of the head here. Sometimes it can be nice at this point to add in there, massaging in circles a few times in one direction, a few times in another direction. That spot back here is a very common spot for tension headaches, and so massaging this whole area sometimes can be a very nice way of relieving tension as well. All right, next, continuing our systematic survey of the body, shoulder lifts. So tense and lift and release, and tense and lift and release. And for these, again, you're going to put your attention inside the muscle of that spot and just feel, what does it feel like to be inside that shoulder? And if you have a lot of shoulder tension, just do a little bit, because you don't want to take a spasm and make it more spasmy. So just a little bit. So lifts and then rotations. Just one at a time. Bring the shoulder around and forward. And again, what does it feel like on the inside of that shoulder joint? And bring it back again. Sometimes when doing these exercises, as you put your attention there, you might feel the area feel a little bit warm, or just something as you move your attention systematically through the body. And always do it similarly on one side as the other. And go forward and backwards both. So again, these are shoulder, just simple rotations. Next, this one is rotation with the hands to the shoulder. So, by the way, these are also nice to do the shoulder exercises, because a lot of people tend to kind of carry their tension in the shoulders. They get hunched up and forward. And so this also retrains you to keep the body in a good relaxed position here. All right, so rotation with the hands to the shoulders. So this time, you're going to bring the arms up and down to the shoulders, and up and down and across here. So again, bringing it up. So this kind of rotates the shoulders up and forward and back. And we'll do it this way for demonstration. Bring the arms up and down to the shoulder, and up and over here. All right, next, horizontal arm swing. Again, people with shoulder problems do this very gently. So you expand the arms across and do it across the shoulders, paying special attention to the sensations in the arms and the shoulders. Generally speaking, when you expand the chest, it's usually a good time for breathing in, and when you contract the chest, it's a good time to breathe out. And so these exercises can be done in conjunction with the breath as well. Alrighty, shoulders and arms. So for this one, you bring your arms up and forward and out. Forward and back to the chest again. So. Alrighty. So next is shoulder wings. So hands to the shoulders and just very gently roll the arms around. And it's okay if you get crackly, popply joints at any of these moments. It's just a sign that there may be some arthritis or something going on in the shoulder, or signs of old inflammation. And again, if your range of motion is not so good, just do a very little bit. You can just do maybe a little something like that if you like. Anything, as long as we're doing these exercises together, if anything is causing any pain, then do only what you're able to do without any pain. And again, this is attention training, so you're just putting your attention in each body part systematically as we're going through. All right, so we're going to do some neck things as well. And I realized I just went out of order a little bit with these. So neck forward and back. Chin over shoulder, where you're just rotating the neck each direction there. Ear to shoulder. So just moving the neck very gently in one direction here at a time. And turtle, where you're moving the head forward and backwards as if for a turtle. And sideways to demonstrate. Alrighty. And so normally, goofed up a little bit this morning, normally I would do the neck first and then the shoulders, but we did the shoulders already. So I'm just going to move on down to the arms, hands, and wrists. So for this one, have your hands out forward and just very gently up and down. And this time, focus on the sensation in the wrists and side to side. And around in circles. Next, claw fingers. So this works additional muscles and the fingers. So the same thing with the arms clawed. And if you're not used to holding your arms up, then this is also a good strengthening for the forearms. And again, same thing, moving in both directions here. And pay attention to the sensation in the hands and the fingers as you're doing these exercises. Okay, and if you want to open and shut the fingers a little bit just to kind of shake it on out. All right, next, abdomen, torso. And so just a very simple Go ahead and reach up and overhead stretch, just stretch directly up. And take a breath in and out. And again, overhead stretch, raise arms up. And as you bring the arms down, nice long exhale. And sideways stretch. So be careful with the balance. If you have arms in the chair, it might be easier for you to do this without having trouble with the balance. So sideways stretch, lift the arm up and then turn it and do the side. And you can do just a little tiny bit with this. For this one, feel the stretch in the side and also focus on the other shoulder and let this one be loose. And same thing with the other side. So lift the arm up, stretch it up first, and look down over the other shoulder, and relax that shoulder, and just stretch that whole side. Next, side bends. You can put your arms up on your hips if you like, and again, this is going to be also from the seated position. So just kind of bend to one side and the other side. If you feel like you're losing your balance, just do a little tiny bit. This will be easier to do in a chair than in a bed for those reasons, just for balance. And then twisting. You bring your hands up and just gently twist a little bit from one side to the other. All right, next there's a couple of exercises that can be done for the stomach that can be done while seated. The first is exercising the front stomach muscles, taking in and out of the stomach. So I'm going to now bring the camera just a little bit down for the second half of this demonstration. So for taking in and out the stomach, you can lean forward a little bit and just practice tensing and relaxing these belly muscles. It's a little easier if you lean forward, especially if somebody is bedbound or sitting. These muscles very often get ignored, but they're very important for keeping the core strength. And so again, just very gently, you can roll up a little bit, you just tense and release these muscles. A little more advanced one for those that want to do it is the Uddiyana Bandh. This can be done in a seated position as well. The difference between this and the simple stomach lift is that when you do Uddiyana Bandh, you're exhaling and then you're kind of sucking the gut up into the vacuum that's created by the exhale. And so we'll just do it a couple of times for demonstration. Inhale, and then and obviously I can't really talk when I get in there, but it's a deep inhalation, and then after you exhale, you just kind of do a little lift to kind of suck the stomach up and in. And again, one more time, inhale and exhale. And only do it for a very, very short time, especially as you're just playing around and practicing. So very important to exercise the belly muscles just a little bit, especially if you're mostly seated in beds or in chairs. All right, next, the forward bend. As again with before, if you have any trouble with balance, if you're able to have your feet on the floor, this should be fine. If you're perched on the side of a bed, You might think twice before doing this one because that might cause you to tumble forward and out of the bed. For this one, just kind of bend forward. You can lean your body on your legs if you want. And focus on the spine. In general, as you lean forward, you're going to want to exhale. And inhale, knee sitting up. So again, forward bend. And I'm going to do this sideways as well, because this way you can see better as I'm doing these lower body exercises. So again, forward bend. And if you're able to, with your feet on the floor, if you want to go a little bit further down, you can do that as well. So another way to do the forward bend is just one vertebrae at a time. Bend your chin, bend at the neck, and kind of roll one vertebrae down at a time. And if this is all you can do, that's perfect. If you're able to do more without falling out of the chair, you can go as far down as you're comfortably able to. Obviously, if you feel like you're going to fall, please don't go that far. Be very mindful of your abilities with this. Next, if you're wanting to do a little bit of a twist with this, you can lean one arm down and kind of put the other arm up, and that will give you a nice twist. Maybe I'll bring the camera up just a little bit so it's easier to see. And generally speaking, you can look up at the arms like that. And so I'll do it the other side. And from a sitting position, to be able to twist, you lean on your other arm. And we're just twisting up. Always start from a good seated posture upwards, and again, putting the other arm down. And it's okay if you're not able to twist very much. Sometimes just a little bit to kind of get the motion going can be helpful as well. So next, exercising the legs and the feet. So, also very important if you're spending a lot of time sitting or in a hospital bed or any other kind of bed situation. So, first, we're going to do just some gentle marching exercises. So, this is gently lifting and placing the legs down again. The leg kick, you're not able to bring the legs backwards, but you can bring the legs forward. If you're able to, you could try this time lifting the leg and focus on bringing the calf back a little bit. Obviously, this is going to be different than the buttocks kick because there's going to be chairs and beds and stuff in the way. So the first time I did that, I was focusing on these quad muscles in the front of the thigh. And the second time, I was kind of focusing more on tensing the calf muscles back there, just kind of bringing it back into what you're able to do there. So again, whatever you do it on both sides. Very important to exercise the legs when able in the beds. The knee swirl, you can kind of just move the knees up and around. So that's knee swirl in that direction and knee swirling in the other direction. Just kind of bringing the knees around and focusing on the joints of the knees and on the thighs. Dancing knees, this one is where you're kind of moving the quads and you're just kind of trying to pull up the kneecap a little bit. You can do it and the idea is to go back and forth And so you're tensing as if you're able to pull up the kneecaps just a little bit, one at a time. So really getting into those little tiny muscles of the front of the leg. Knee bends, of course, from a seated position, that will be tough to do, but something else that you could do would be just simply to lift the leg up and stretch the knees. If you're perched on the edge of the bed, this might be a little bit tricky. But if you're sitting in a chair with your feet on the floor, you may be able to just kind of lift a little bit on one side and the other side. So these are some knee bends. Again, the ankle squat, we're not going to be able to do as much from a seated position, but there's a lot of exercises you can do with the ankles. So I think I'll pull my chair back just a little bit here so for demonstration. So for the ankles, and you can do this with your feet on the floor. I'm lifting my feet up because just so I don't have to move the camera around. But just kind of going back and forth and all around with the ankles. If you do lift your leg up, you get some extra strengthening of this forward muscles here. But the idea is just focus on the ankles and roll the ankles in all different directions. And same thing with the other side. Even lift it up so I can show for demonstration. And just moving the ankles in all directions and focusing on the sensation of the ankles. Toe balance, of course, we're not going to be able to do that from a sitting position because we're not going to be able to balance on the toes. But you certainly can do simple things like lifting and putting the toes down. So for that, practicing pointing and bringing the toes in the other direction. So that's flexion and extension. So flexing and extending the toes. And for this one, you want to be aware of the sensation in the feet. And again for demonstration, bringing my legs a little higher than you probably would do if you're sitting on the edge of a bed. And just bring the toes back and forth and focusing on the sensation in the feet. And so doing these exercises, it exercises the calves. This helps prevent blood clots if you happen to be in a hospital or other situation where you're not moving around as much. As you tense and release these calves, it actually circulates the blood up through the lower extremities. And sometimes these kinds of exercises, especially with the feet, if you're in the hospital, sometimes fluid collects around the ankles or around in here. And by very gently exercising, moving this up, you're going to be able to help reduce the amount of swelling that's in there because you're actually helping the lymph circulation. Lymph is the stuff that's used for the immune system. You're actually helping bring that lymph circulation back up, and compression stockings can also be wonderful if you're getting edema or swelling in the feet and ankles because of long time sitting or lying in bed as well. Alrighty, so thank you for joining me for this gentle joints and glands exercises. I hope you've enjoyed, and again, as you go through these exercises, really pay attention to how does each of these body parts feel as you're moving your attention through the body. Hopefully by the time you're done, you'll have released some of the tension systematically from head to toe, and you'll be also at the same time strengthening and exercising each of these little things. And the thing that's beautiful about this is as you strengthen and exercise each of those little tiny muscles in the joints and all that for the body, you're maintaining your range of motion, you're strengthening, and you're also training your mind at the same time because you're tensing and releasing and tensing and releasing of all these different body parts, and you're able to practice letting go and just moving and practicing moving the attention through the body as well. Well, thank you very much, Shal, for joining me for these seated joints and glands, gentle exercises for the body from head to toe. And of course, today's was just especially focused on people who are not able to stand much at the moment, or who are spending a lot of time sitting and laying down. Or if you just kind of feel tired and you want to do them all sitting instead of sitting and standing and all that, that can be fun too. All right, well, have a great morning and a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.